true, very true. One round of applause for my very, very strong panel, please. Okay, so we've been listening to sustainability since morning, and not just since morning, but I think for a few years now. So we have, along with the cartel that I have with Dr. Alok, this cartel has decided to make it fun. Okay, so we'll not bore you and all. We'll try and make it as fun as possible, number one. Number two, to make it easier, because we're such a large panel and one of us is even missing, we've divided the group into 3 sub-segments, okay? That's point number 2. Point number 3 is what is our topic, along with the same sustainability overall topic is redefining brand value through sustainability. So we've all understood what sustainability is, except for one industry. She's on my panel. But how do we actually define it, rather redefine it, because we've been hearing so much about it in the last so many years. And second, what are the measures that we're putting in place and how are they measurable? So we'll try and keep it fun. We're having 3 segments. We'll chew people's brains out, hopefully, all these intelligent brains, and then we'll ask a quick fire question. As for me, I am Dr. Anvita Prabhakara. I have worked in the corporate segment with MNCs like British Petroleum, Castrol, Aditya Birla. I now have my own consulting and I'm fractional CMO for the last 5-6 years. Okay, the doctor is the medical degree, but forget about that. So we'll start with panel 1. I have panel 1, Pankaj Bhavnani. They're all sitting together, very nice. Saumini and Pradnya. Okay, so as we've all understood up until now, that sustainability is no more a tick in the box. It's more we have to do, and it has to be long-term, no more a short-term, tick in the box or a do-good factor, right? So I go one by one in terms of also, it's no more, like I said, it is an environmental capital to begin with in quite a few industries like the fashion and the FMCG sector. It also involves the government bodies, the operating policies, risk governance, and there is an angle of, adding a human and a social capital to it. So in the light of all this, Pankaj, we'll start with you. Pankaj and I share an organization. We both worked at Aditya Birla. So we have that commonality, but the commonality is extending in terms of how large MNCs respond to sustainability. There's a whole world of difference in terms of the amount of work that goes into doing it, right? You have also worked with HSBC, which is a completely different finance sector, right? So as per you, do you think, I'm going to combine your question into 2 questions into one, which is, do you think today sustainability is a genuine competitive definition and a differentiator, or has it just become a baseline expectation? Both are important, so which of it is? And since you are in the business and the marketing space and also in the sales development space, do you think we are able to have an ROI measurable factor to it?
So hi guys, thanks for this interesting panel. On a lighter note, fractional CMOs meet together, are also sustainable, that sense.
Yes, absolutely.
Working across organizations. So yeah, bang into the question, I think for larger financial organizations like HSBC and Aditya Birla, sustainability has now moved over a fad, right? It's now part of your core business and it's generating returns on the long term. Quickly example, Aditya Birla Health Insurance, sustainable was defined into healthy outcomes for for people who buy insurance, right? Their lives become better, you give them better services, better health metrics, and the long-term value to the company goes in. So I think any company who's looking at short-term ROI, probably sustainability is not the idea. What you have to look at is it at a long-term value creation. I think that's my short answer for that, yeah.
You want to give an example?
Yeah. So a simple example, as I said, insurance is all about fear, is when we started out, right? Everybody said, you fall ill, and that's how you are, you need insurance to get rid of it, etc. We started talking the conversation on focusing on health, right? So saying, can you take steps in your life today so that you don't fall ill, become healthy, and actually if you do, I give you a part of the returns back. So I think in the start, when we started this about 5 years back, when I was part of that company, Aditya Birla Health Insurance founding company, people were laughing at it, including distributors, bank partners, etc. But ultimately, the consumer, after he started realizing that, hey, you know what, if I become healthy and I take some positive steps, I get a part of my premium back. That became a back burner. He said, I'm getting healthy, right? So that's a great conversation. So I think now it has turned into what, about 8,000 crores. But we were wondering whether we'll reach the first 8 crores or not in the year, right? So long-term value creation versus short-term ROI is the clear game, or else I think sustainability will be a fad for you. That's it. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. But what can you just, repeat? What was that 8,000 point that you just made? The 8,000 crore? Because I think the team at the end didn't get
No,
that.
so
Yeah.
when Aditya Birla Health Insurance started, we were the 45th player in the company, in the market, right?
Okay, okay.
So we had zero premiums
Okay.
in that sense, right?
Right.
So I'm saying to think of selling insurance on health returns was unheard of in India, right? So as I was saying, in the first 6 months, everybody thought this business is going to close down.
Understood.
And now they're in the run rate of about 8,000 crores annual turnover, right? So I'm saying
Superb. So which means you actually converted.
So over about 5 to 8 years, focusing on what you believe in, setting up ecosystems for that, setting up an environment can actually lead to a long-term value chain. And somebody said, will it affect profitability? In fact, they're highly profitable, right? So I think it can work both ways.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. That was very insightful. Guys, we are hearing a lot of chatter. Yeah, if you may step out if you want to or listen. Okay, thank you. This crowd over here. Okay, we'll go to the next person, Miss Saumini. She is a stalwart. Okay, don't go by her simplicity that she's sitting over there. She's a stalwart in the music industry, in the artist management space. You're also into music yourself on your personal. Yeah. She has a very active YouTube channel, so that's Saumini for you. Very unassuming, but a rock star. Saumini, this is purely a question from my side also, because I've worked in manufacturing, FMCG, oil and gas. I understand sustainability very well, insurance also for that matter. But music, I'm not understanding how and what is sustainability. So one, can you help us define what is sustainability in not just music, in art? I think music and art, in the artist space, in the art space. And two, how have you gone about, has there been a change in what sustainability was a few years back to what it is now? Yeah. And is it actionable in the art industry?
Actually, it's a perfect fit because, you know, prior to the pandemic and a few years before that, it was only Bollywood. Okay. Right? And Bollywood had 100 years of legacy, so nobody really understood anything outside of that. In the early days when I got into the non-Bollywood space, which was independent music, we kind of introduced other forms of art, but still, you know, there was Bollywood and there was non-Bollywood. And then the pandemic happened, and suddenly Bollywood went down and the independent space picked up. Today, thanks to players like Nita Ambani and NCPA and a lot of other spaces in the country, traditional music, Sufi, folk, all of that has become mainstream. And that, to me, I mean, you cannot do this without the ecosystem supporting it. You know, one individual person cannot drive sustainability or even sustain culture. Right. It has to be a collective effort. Right. And the beauty of it is, I think the only good thing that came out of that stupid pandemic was this. But the reality is that in my own capacity, I currently, in fact, I'm building a vertical for arts and culture where I represent almost about 12 artists who have defined their own musical styles. And most of it is invariably in the Sufi, folk, very, very core to what they believe in, you know. So I think sustainability in music is about believing in what you are about, being able to put it out. And it's a very community-driven approach, right? It's not about, I mean, now artists have realized that your followers on Instagram do not define whether you can actually run a business out of it, right? So my objective is, how do I convert a ticketing audience for these artists? You know, where they can continue to present what they want and hopefully I can market and help them. And of course, my dependency is again on the ecosystem. You know, whether it's brands, whether it's venues, whether it's people who want to sign them on for their own personal bear tucks, for all that matters. You know.
So would I be right in kind of summarizing, and please correct me if I'm wrong, summarizing it down into, yes, the pandemic was the catalyst for it, but at the end of it, in the art space, sustainability would translate into going beyond the syllabus of Bollywood, and thereby the growth of other, let's say, other music and other types of art.
Absolutely. I think it's come down to the artist being able to be true to what his or her, what they actually always wanted to do.
Yes. Right? And the ecosystem are all the art connoisseurs.
Absolutely.
So they've added to it.
Yeah.
Perfect. I think that is so clear. Thank you so much. Pradnya, we'll come to you. That is Pradnya. She has about 25 plus years of experience, and she's very versatile. And again, very gentle, very unassuming, but very versatile. I say because she's worked and delivered from brands which are very massy to very premium brands, very niche to very luxury brands, local to global, across all India and global markets, B2B, B2C, all of it. So like a very well-rounded businesswoman, if I would have to say. So in your experience, and over the last 25 years, how have you seen sustainability evolve? Has it evolved? First of all, that's I think most important. And the question is important because you have cross-industry experience. So first of all, has it evolved? And how has it evolved? That is the question to you.
So I think definitely it has evolved. Okay, I'll tell you the two sides of it. One from just the marketing point of view. Like I think early 2010, we used to have CSR programs. We used to have some tree plantation and talk about it in the marketing, and we have some education for underprivileged students and talk about it. And that was mainly just to build a goodwill or be in the PR. So it stayed like that almost till 2012 and all that. And then come 2015, when basically the game changer was two things. One is the Paris Climate Change Agreement, which happened. And secondly, the whole investor body, the global investor body, asking companies to declare their ESG, score. Yeah. And because you need an investment, that's why you have to do certain things to get the more investment, So, and then the big four companies or the consultancy companies also started talking about it. So the whole seriousness got into it. In fact, in pandemic only, in 2021, is when SEBI started telling the companies to declare their BRR, which is business responsibility, report. And the whole digitization and pandemic got the world closer. So you know what's happening in the outside world, and then overall sustainability came up. And then there were so many purposeful campaign. The companies were like doing Jagore or Samsonite, we did Ek Din Ki Chutti, Diwali Ka Safar. You have certain other like Ariel, P&G did Share the Load. But those were, so from CSR, the whole focus was purpose-led campaign. And then come 2025, you have sustainability, which is more of the niche brands who are saying, oh, we are sustainable. Because at the large scale, you cannot achieve sustainability at the short term. So you need a R&D, you require a supply chain management, you require a traceability, you require a water management, energy management. It's really humongous task. So therefore, the large organization won't be talking about sustainability because they are engineering their whole system to be more sustainable. So it's like Samsonite, they are actually almost in their factories 100% renewable energy. I think it's a huge task, Even Wellspin has the highest ranking globally in ESG, So I think but the large organization don't talk about sustainability as a campaign, because it's rooted and ultimately it's going to reflect in the products, and people and the brand both have the responsibility to make that right choice eventually. And you can't ask consumers to choose sustainable, pay little more, somebody was saying pay little higher and choose. I think the companies and the brands will have to invest a lot more to make it frictionless choice to the consumer, and eventually it will happen because we all started in 2021, I would say, for India, or maybe little before that. But it's going to take some 10 to 20 years for it to become more visible.
Yeah, I think I totally commiserate with what you're saying, and I'm sure the audience also does. A very similar angle is something that I'd like to share, which is in British Petroleum and Castrol. It's a 135-year-old company. It's a legacy company. So Indians, we don't think safety first. Like, we're just running everywhere, local trains everywhere, we're just running. The British, they think safety first. It's also to do with the oil and gas sector. Safety is a very big concern. So as Indians, when we join the company and we're given the guidelines and safety is included in our KRA, we're like, really, why? Like, you know, I'm going to have a safety conversation. Please sit properly, don't trip and all of that. And I'll get scores on that. But if I don't do my business well, I don't get thrown out. But I can definitely get thrown out if my safety factors are not in place. So it's top-down thought process. It's including it in the KRAs of everyone from the bottom to the top. And today, you know, it's a very, like, we all belt up, not just in the front seat, but also in the back seat. And that's a very, at a very minimal level to a large level where some events are happening, or at the rigs, we are taking care of the safety so that nobody has, you know, there's no death or injuries. So while they took so many years, and probably the entire oil and gas sector, because today Petronas is also being awarded for being a safety champion. So safety took about 20-25 years. So you are absolutely right when you say now that we've all started the conversation, not just in India, but across the world, for sustainability. It is going to take, and it is a long-term agenda. So thank you for that. Thank you very much. Okay, segment 1, my channel, my team, we are going to have the quick fire section, okay? So first question, if you had to make a mascot in your respective industry for brand sustainability, what would it be? Mascot. You can go in any order, yeah.
I think a turtle, right? Huh? I would make a turtle.
Turtle.
Slow and steady.
Oh, lovely, lovely.
But
do you
consistent.
Want to make it Ninja Turtle by any chance?
You can call it a Ninja Turtle from a branding point of view, but what I'm trying to say is short-term ROI is not going to help. You'll have to do small steps for a longer duration for actually it to start showing returns for long-term. That's what the mascot is.
Fantastic. Slow and steady.
That's a googly. I really can't think.
I'll give you time. We'll
Okay,
come back
then,
to you.
yeah.
I really don't have mascot in mind, but I would say somebody like a circular hero, because sustainability is equally the responsibility of the people. So circularity hero will, like an individual, will also have a contribution to make and so the company.
Thank you. Somini?
I don't know if this makes sense, but I would think someone like the Taj Group, you know.
Make them the ambassador and not the mascot.
Yeah.
And you have your reason for that? One quick reason?
I think just quality and culture, obviously.
Empathy also.
And empathy.
Yes,
and you know, the feeling of homeliness.
Yes. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. One round of applause for my segment 1, please. Yes. Hey, don't be conjuice, come on. Yeah, they were so fantastic. Okay, we go to segment 2. We have 2 members here, Sarang and Neetu Sharma. The segment 2 is basically sustainability. We heard how it translates in their industry, sustainability. Right now in this panel, we're talking about sustainability as a growth lever. So it boils down to what we were speaking just 5 minutes ago, which is as long as it's a do-good factor, then it doesn't last long. It has to be a long-term initiative, sustainability. And when it is like you rightly said, that it has to be at the core of the corporate, the top-down thing, when it's at the core of corporate strategy, then sustainability can also transform into a growth driver. The previous panel spoke about HUL doing a good job of it. So, you know, it being a growth driver, it being an innovative catalyst and all of that, right? So, coming to you, Sarang, we'll start with you. Now, Sarang here he's never going to go out of job. To begin with. Why do I say that? Because he's a digital and AI savvy marketer. So this man's a man of the present and the future. Okay? So what do you think in your experience or career or in the future are some of the guardrails that you need to put in place with your organizations when you're launching innovative campaigns which do not dilute the concept of sustainability? Or rather, do not dilute, which deliver the message of sustainability.
Sure. So thank you, Dr. Anvita, and thank you for having me here. Pleasure being here. So I would say that, I'll say that first, sustainability is not to be promoted, I would say. It is to be perceived, right? I think, and I think it's a overrated term today, sustainability. Since morning, I think everyone is talking about that. I'll talk more about sustainability in marketing per se, right? Which is, I think, the friend of mine, he was just also talking about. So I would just talk from a question perspective that I'll talk about three things. One is that whatever we do, the marketing campaigns to promote our product, company, services, whatever we do, right? So how we are doing that, whether it is a sustainable way, right, in marketing, that is also equally important, I believe. And one of the thing is the authenticity, typically, right, which is very, very crucial or important part of marketing being sustainable with your company, with your product, and with your service. So what it means exactly is, let's say you have products. So I work for a company called Rotex Automation. It's an industrial automation company. And what we have done is a very intentional act since last, I would say, couple of years. So we have a 40% market share in India, and we are penetrating in international market. And we have a product which is a small product, but which is a very crucial or important product in the process industries, right? So a leadership team and all of us decided that we need to do different things. We need to create our own USPs, that how we are different and sustainable for the industries, right? So we have put a lot of our efforts on R&D, and then now, since few years, we have 27 patents for our products, right? And which is actually a true, I would say, gives us a value to our customer or to the industry, that our products are sustainable, and it not only help you to work, but it is sustainable, and which gives you I would say, a longer benefit, right? That's what we personally believe in. And in a marketing perspective, so we promote that, right? So authenticity plays a very, very important role, I believe. And instead of we just talking about our products and our features and all that, what we do is that we talk about how our products help our customers, right? In terms of the numbers, because that matters for the customers or for the industry. That, for example, one of our product, which directly we can claim that it saves 35% of the energy compared to the competition or compared to the typical traditional products, right? So that gives us a direct contribution or the value added benefit to the customer, and it is a sustainable benefit for the customer. So that we have that belief in sustainability. So that is one. I would say that second is the long-term effect of brand versus typically talking about your products and then what we do and all that. That's a core marketing, I believe. So marketing basically fundamentally is a sustainable activity. So, and what we do, so we never promote, so we do, all our marketeers here, we do a lot of email blasts, and then we talk about our products, and we do that, and this and that. We don't do that. We basically built our credibility, right? A trust, our thought leadership.
The patents also add to it.
Absolutely, that is one of the part, yeah. And that help us to have that conviction about our product, about our company, and that help us to win long term, right? So sustainability is all about long term, how you are sustainable for a longer period. So that is very important, promoting your brand, your differentiation factors versus typically talking about the product features and all that. And third, I would say that now we are all in this AI space, right? So digital, I would say, care what we need to take, right? So as I was just talking about that, we stopped now doing the bulk email blast and all that. So we have very focused marketing approach, that we know that who is our ICP, okay? Who are the people really matters to them, that our products or our company or our services. So we do the ABM kind of campaign. Earlier we used to do a lot of email things and ads and all that. Now it's a very pinpointed and focused marketing approach, which saves a lot of energy ultimately, because nowadays in AI, if you need to produce a content, it takes a lot of energy, right? Your water, energy, everything consumes. So we have to be very careful going forward as well, that how we are responsible marketeer. Are we responsible marketeer or not? So we have focused our activities, like we will do only the ABM activities, who are our real ICP, connecting with them, talking about our brand, not about talking about their pain points, how we can solve them and all that. That matters. And I would say that one more thing in that instead of doing multiple things, be focused that what matters to the customers and what matters to ultimately the company. Right?
So basically, increasing both efficacy and efficiency.
Absolutely,
Thank
yeah.
you. Thank you for that. I'll come back to you with the next question. We'll speak about Neetu here. Neetu is also a B2B marketing specialist. She's been at the helm of a lot of customer-driven, data-driven, customer-centric marketing. And she's also an author. The name of her book is Start Small, Grow Big, which I think is very strangely, but very aptly, very true for the sustainability story also. So what, in your opinion, are some of the essential skills, capabilities that we as marketing leaders or business leaders need to develop internally? What we need to develop?
Correct. Thanks, Avnita, for that lovely introduction. Yeah, if we talk about the skills which should be there as a marketer in us, you know, the topmost, I would say, would be the art of storytelling. Yeah, and even if you have got the art of storytelling, now what should you talk about? Yeah, while you are handling marketing for any of the organization, what you should be talking about is another art, right? And how can you figure out what to talk about and make your brand's sustainability story? Yeah, for that. This is something which I have been hired for in my current role as well as VP Marketing for RMSI. And these guys are basically, you know, when I talked with the CEO, he is like that, we want to create our sustainability story, yeah? And it's not about refreshing any idea they have got. They are not talking about sustainability the way they want to in the market. Yeah, so I'm here to define that. So I'm using my skill set where I'm talking to the founders to figure out, you know, why did they create this brand in the first place? What was the purpose, brand purpose, yeah? So we usually think that, you know, people want to do business for profitability only. But on the sidelines, you know, there is some thought which crosses founder's mind, and you have to have that knack for getting that out, you know, from your CEO or founder, that what was behind that which made you start this organization. Yeah, that will give you a hint to connect the dots and figure out what can be the sustainability story eventually. And that is what I'm doing with the entire leadership of this company.
So if I may just add to the question, are you telling us that as marketers, because traditionally we're all storytellers, right?
Yeah.
So are you saying that we just need to develop, and let me remove the word just from there, we need to develop our storytelling abilities? Is that the only skill we need? Because then that is a message transfer, right? An effective message transfer. How do we convert it into actionables? I think is there a skill?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So I'll tell you, in my past roles, other than handling marketing for the company, I also I told them, let me handle your CSR also. Because that was an opportunity for me to connect the dots again. So what I did, I figured out a way of selecting a CSR activity which will very, you know, finely and humbly link back to one of their service offerings. So we were refurbishing laptops for our big customers. So we decided, okay, let's do this CSR activity where we are going to take our employees' old laptops, yeah, refurbish them, because we are, as a policy, we have to replace them, yeah, change them after every 3 years. So why don't we take our employees' laptops, refurbish them through our vendor ecosystem, and then donate it to the underprivileged in the schools, yeah, and that was a CSR activity we did. So we didn't, in a way, you know, so you have to have the skill of figuring out such connections. Yeah, and it's not that we cannot be profitable if we are on the path of sustainability, but this was the way we figured out we can still be profitable and our brand awareness would increase.
Not add to the capex, basically.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for that. Sarang, just coming back to you, and this is a short question, which is in line with what you explained in terms of what you're doing and your patents. And it doesn't have to, my question doesn't have to, your answer doesn't have to be to the same example, it can be to something else, which is, do you want to tell us about, and like quickly, about one challenge or barrier that you had to overcome in this whole sustainability story? And I'm not, like since Neetu spoke a lot about storytelling, can you give us a different angle with, which produced actionable, like, you overcame a barrier and then.
Yeah, sure. I'll just talk about quickly. It's a mindset mindset issue, I would say. Why? Because when we talk about sustainability or how we add value to our customer or to the industry, so it's a longer route, right? It's typically a longer route, and typically salespeople or other stakeholders, they don't like that because they want to achieve their targets and all
Immediately.
that. So, immediately.
Yeah.
So that is always a scenario, and then but how we transform that, like we show the results. We show the results that, okay, by taking this way, that we can get in fact premiums. So profit with purpose, if we just have that alignment, it gives us a good mileage, right, for a longer period.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sustainability is a long story. It's
Absolutely.
not a short-term story, right?
Absolutely.
Perfect. Okay, quick fire for you guys. You should answer this. If you also, but mostly Neetu, if sustainability was to be made into a Netflix series or a documentary or a book, what should be the title?
I would name it Profitability Within Planetary Limits.
Okay. Okay, nice. Sir?
I would say that profit with purpose or beyond the bottom line.
Okay. And if you were to explain sustainability, brand sustainability to a 10-year-old kid in one line, like make it as simple as possible, no
Okay,
complications.
so
yeah?
it is something that we are building things which will, like tomorrow will thank us for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. You want to answer that?
Yeah, I would love to answer that. In fact, if I'm to explain this brand sustainability idea to a 5-year-old, I would say I would compare it to a brand which is like a tree. Yeah, which will take resources from the environment, sunlight, water, but to the limits of what it requires and needs to grow. And eventually it will give you fruit, and also the seed. If you replant that, again it will grow into a new tree. So any brand which can follow this entire cycle like a tree would be an excellent example.
Thank you, thank you. That was simple and nice. Thank you. Round of applause for my segment 2, please. Okay. Keeping it short and sweet. Okay, segment 3. We have Sharmila, who's GM Marketing, also a doyen in marketing herself. She has 20 years of experience across very legacy brands like Radio Mirchi and ICICI and Big Bazaar, Fevicol, Bisleri, all the brands we all love. And we also have Ankit Goenka. I will give you an introduction next. What is this section about? So we did speak about sustainability. We ended up covering communication, which was their agenda, but you took over, but it's okay. So now you guys are left only with credibility in communication for sustainability. Just to give a one-line intro into this segment, it's not sufficient, Neetu, borrowing from what you said, it's not sufficient that we are just good storytellers, but it has to translate into actionables like the patents and things that you spoke about in the insurance. But I think what makes it more important is including everyone, and also considering we are communication masters. It's no more a feel-good, emotional, something that makes us feel good at the end of 1 minute or 30 seconds, ki kya baat hai, and then we've forgotten about it. It has to be, we are also put under the microscope and everything. And it's when I say we, I don't mean marketeers, but we as an organization from our, and in the current ecosystem, with our stakeholders like the investors, with the government policies, all of it is, communication just becomes so much more important. And we all know marketing is not only communication. That is something that I want to kind of put it out to the MBA students over there, that marketing is not just making good ads, and there's so much science behind it. And it affects all of your business decisions in most industries, right? So I'm going to shut up now and ask your question, which is, Sharmila, across your 20 years of experience, again, how do you think consumers, because the consumer today is not a fool. I mean, not today. For quite some time, he's never been a fool. And who is the consumer? We only are the consumers, we only are the marketers, right? So, so the question is, now that with all the social media and more awareness and WhatsApp University and all of that, how do you think we need to, keep a guardrail on, because we are, responsible, consumers are made aware that we are not greenwashing the subject of sustainability, but it's in action. And it's not just a good communication.
Yeah, so consumers these days are not very convinced with broad claims.
Yeah.
Go green, eco-friendly. They're not convinced, They're looking for more authentic, more realistic metric, and probably third-party certification. And consumers are ready to be part of brands' sustainability efforts. For example, if you look at Blue Dart's Go Green delivery options, Swiggy's eco-friendly delivery options, or even a consumer durable category, consumer switching from a conventional motor to a BLDC fans, where there is a little more, cost increase in the product itself, but consumers are, coming forward to participate in the brand's journey towards sustainability. So always, most of the times, sustainability communication and marketing is seen very serious and very boring. But that's really not the case. There are brands, like, probably, Chumbak, Fab India, or Nike, or Mahindra, who have taken this communication around sustainability in a very cool and fun way. And so it is important that brands are more transparent in communicating the sustainability efforts, backing up with progress, and need not be, perfect. I mean, consumers are not looking for perfection in sustainability, because perfection brings in, doubts. So consumers are looking for progress and metrics which are more promising, and with brands conveying this through their marketing efforts, there is a lot of credibility built around the brand, and with this credibility, the brand identity gets built, and there's a lot of brand trust that grows in.
Perfect. Would you also add the point that you spoke about, perfection is not valuable anymore? Do you think, user-generated, let's say if I'm talking about a cream, user-generated content where I'm one of the users, that has more credibility today? Do you think that has, because that's more real, more humane, rather than giving perfect ads and perfect, before-after stories?
See, probably, we have a lot of college students here, so I will, answer this in a very different way.
Okay.
I will push the rewind button and take back to 2009, where I was leading marketing for a brand called Hudson Agro, which is India's largest private dairy brand. It has flagship brands like Arun Ice Cream, Arogya Milk. So when I was like you all, like college student, I was, in the initial phase of my marketing career, and I was responsible for, my role in marketing was responsible for writing SOPs for veterinary doctors to take care of the cattle, to focus on how cattle waste can be, recycled to manure. Imagine, if your parents come to know that, your child after MBA is going and visiting farmers and cattle in the villages. So that's the same reaction with my parents. At the same time, what happened? Brand communication on the other side, we had all the best of South India's film stars endorsing the product on the television. But the story was, what we did behind the scene and how we are supporting the ecosystem is different from what we are showcasing as a brand communication. So we shifted gears and we started communicating through our brand films being very, very authentic and showing raw footages of how the brand is being responsible and bringing in sustainability in the whole ecosystem of, sourcing. This, brought in a shift in how consumers saw the brand, how they got emotionally connected with the brand, and we could see that, the quick jump in the brand preference and the, sales growing in. So likewise, keeping the college, audience in our mind, many brands, not just the ingredients of a cream that you're talking about, it could be even the reverse logistics that, brands need to take it up. For example, if I have to take Bisleri as an example, it doesn't stop with, managing the reverse logistic by recycling the PET bottles, by making benches that you would see in the public places made of recycled PET. It also takes responsibility in educating college students, school students, identifying the, green person in the school by, educating them how responsibility the bottles should be, disposed. So all these efforts go in building the, sustainability image of the brand.
Very nice. So, in other words, basically involving the customer in your brand journey and making them aware. It's not sufficient to just do good things, but also make them part of the story. I think that is what you're trying to say. Thank you for that. Beautifully answered. I'll come to you next, Ankit. So Ankit in the panel is our money man. He's been in the BFSI financial sector all his life, right? Am I right? Yeah, you are. And in the BFI sector, all of us, especially Saumini, you in the art industry, and I think all of us, we have that little flexibility to be creative also. Ankit, poor man, is in the BFSI sector while earning loads of money, but his marketing, his spectrum of marketing communication that he has to do, or even things that actionable that you have to do, is largely determined by regulators and the government policies and all the other guardrails that you are. And in the midst of that, you have to still convey your conversation. I think even Pankaj, you also, for the insurance sector, right? So how would you define, first of all, like the same question I asked to Saumini, how would we define sustainability in a money industry?
Sure. Thank you for having me here today. And before I actually answer that question, at the beginning we said let's also have some fun, right? And looking at all the poor students here, and I actually saw that one hoarding which said "Tumse milna, batein karna bada acha lagta hai." I'm not too sure that the feeling is there with the students that they're really liking or not. But trust me, guys, I know sustainability as a topic, it's boring, right? There is no jazz here. But it's up to you, right? That tomorrow, because we are, the early entrant in this, right? When we talk about all of us.
Yeah,
but tomorrow, when you go out into corporates and you start working, right? You need to decide that how you want to make it more jazzy, right? If I want to talk about the Gen Z and the Gen Alpha language, the vibe. How can you get the vibe in sustainability, right? So that's something that you need to take care.
I want to add here that we are just going to start the sustainability story by you have to take it forward, right? That's exactly
absolutely correct, right? And then you said, the money man, and you also said poor, right? So somewhere
such an oxymoron. I realized when I said.
I was thinking, and my full name is Ankit Goenka. Goenkas are baniyas. Right, and typically baniyas you associate with money only, right? Right. So I'm at the right place is what the message is, right? Now coming back to the question, right? See, frankly, in BFSI, it's actually very simple but difficult, right? Sustainability in a BFSI sector is all about risk management. Nothing beyond that, right? And for example, when I talk about an insurance company where I work today, for us, sustainability from a long-term perspective is solvency, right? Our ability to pay claims, because an insurance company, what is the job of an insurance company? The job of an insurance company is to pay claims, right? So if from a sustainability standpoint, you don't have a good solvency, that's not a good risk management. So frankly, it is nothing beyond risk management in a BFSI sector.
And do you want to give us one tiny example? Quickly, because Alok is killing me there.
See, if you look at, what is the job of an insurance company? You have, let's say, 100 people who are paying you premium, right? And you kind of underwrite and say that I'm underwriting this particular risk, right? Now, when these guys are claiming, right, you need to put the right processes and right matrices around that entire journey, right, to ensure that you're paying the right claim. Because that's again a social responsibility towards the nation and the premium payers, that you're not paying to the wrong guy. Because actually this money is not yours. This money is of the policyholders, right? So how do you really ring fence that piece? And of course, technology also comes today when we talk about AI. For example, in a health insurance today, it's very easy to tell whether a particular document is forged or not. Right? It was not an easy task earlier. It was more dependent on somebody doing an eyeball exercise and say that I feel that there is some issue. With technology now, there is no feel. The technology can tell you, yes, this is forged. Right? So you're bringing those right processes, systems, matrices, and you have to actually stitch it across the life cycle. Right? And then tell those, like she was saying, tell the right story. In terms of, it's not about saying that go green as a narrative, right? You have to come to the facts.
How have you implemented
How you have
it?
implemented, right? For example, again on insurance claims, we can say that we have paid X number of claims for climate risk, and we have reduced the response time by XYZ%. Right? That's
measurable.
a fact. It's measurable. That's a fact. Instead of just saying a narrative. Because the facts will bring in trust. Okay, narratives alone will not help you get and earn that trust, right? So that's the biggest difference.
Yes. Thank you. Absolutely. You're absolutely spot on. The last session, which is your quick fire. So if, either of you, if you were a superhero in your industry, which one of them? Avengers, Marvel, any of them, but for sustainability. Who do you think it would be?
It's not about naming a particular superhero, but if I get that superpower today, as I said, and as in specifically on insurance, it's not about just paying the claims, but if I can prevent that risk, right? For example, NatCats, right? So insurance companies have those data and everything. If I can use that data and predict and prevent the NatCat to happen, as a superpower, I would love to do that.
So if I become a superhero with power, I will want to have the power to redesign all the products with zero waste, carbon positive, water positive.
Wow, that is nice. That is such a good answer. She scored 1-0 over you. Okay, the last question, which is rapid fire, sir. Which is one brand in your industry which has done the sustainability story very well?
I won't choose a brand, I will choose category, consumer durable category, where, probably I would pick up BLDC as a technology, which is bringing the shift in, conserving energy.
Okay.
I would not pick any other brand. It's us, Bajaj General in our industry. I believe that we are doing great because we have that philosophy of not only telling the narratives, but telling the facts. And we have kind of embedded all these sustainability metrics across the life cycle, right? And it is what the leaders are looking at.
Okay, last question for the entire panel. Quick question, quick answer also. What is one thing that we as business leaders, we'll start from here. Pradnya, we'll start from here. What is one thing that we as brand and business leaders can do to ensure that sustainability is part of our daily language?
See, I actually already
Quick
answered
answer,
that,
quick
right? It is about getting the sustainability metrics across the life cycle.
Perfect.
Sustainability should not just be part of the brochure, but be part of the boardroom decisions.
In 2 words, I would say doing mindful consumption ourselves.
So I would say just we need to make it personal and not just on the document or checklist kind of thing, right? We need to use it every day in every function. Yeah.
Well, my answer is very different. I would like to pray and tell the brown hair guy not to create a geopolitical or economic issues for the world, so that the world and the companies can, give their attention to the most pressing issue of a climate change and a sustainability.
I think personally, I would like to Okay. Personally, when it comes to sustainability, I would like to ensure that I follow, whatever I can do to make a better place in this world. And professionally, obviously, I want to be able to really support the talent that is out there trying to create their own sound.
I would just revert the word to value creation. So sustainability turned to value creation for you, your business, your consumer, and the environment. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think my answer would be that sustainability is not something that I have to develop. It's already yesterday that we had to develop. Yes. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, the panel. Thank you, the audience.